I wish you had more time. I wish you had more time, huh? I wish Canelo had more time, but he gonna get this work. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I am not absolutely sure what Canelo's goal is in the sport of boxing in 2023. However, I know the perception ain't that good. Now, I made a video about it. Canelo Alvarez versus Badou Jack. The fight is not happening. The reason being, Badou Jack went out and put out a tweet leaking the information, the behind-the-scenes negotiations that none of us knew about, stating that Canelo payday, you want payday, I know that. Stating that Canelo wanted certain demands, weight stipulations demands, met, and that was the reason for the fizzle out. What were these demands? A 20-pound weight cut for the cruiserweight champion, meaning Canelo didn't want to fight at 200 pounds. He wanted to fight this fight at 180 pounds. In addition, he wanted a rehydration clause. So not only are you stifling the cruiserweight champion by making him come down to a weight that low, 180, you are also trying to tax him, the next day and have a rehydration clause. Brutal stuff. Rightfully so, Canelo has been criticized for this move. Now, it seems like in a situation you gotta know when to fold and play your hand accordingly. Canelo doesn't seem to get the memo, and neither do his fans. So some person on Instagram says in July 2021, Badou Jack said he'd fight 168-pound Canelo at 175 pounds. In June of 2023, Jack is 200 pounds and tells Garden Gnome Canelo, who is still holding his 168 belts, to fight him at cruiserweight. Canelo agrees to the fight at 180 pounds, still cruiser, but Jack says no way, and now Canelo is the bad guy. Now, you guys heard the clip at the beginning where Badou Jack said that on the mic. Hi, it's me, Mike Tyson. I got Badou Jack. He talking about Canelo. He talking about all the fight. Canelo, I think that's a good fight. You guys need to explore that fight. So on the Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson podcast, in 2021, Badou Jack said he would be willing to do that. But this is the problem. When people try to, unlike me, I don't have to lie to make points. A lot of people in boxing, they have an agenda. So when they try to make a point, they'll purposefully leave out certain pertinent information, omit certain things. And basically, this is a way to deceive the public and misinform. So they'll remove portions of, like they'll play 1 second of the audio and then they won't play what the person said next. So Canelo fans, they just don't get it. I just don't get it. Payday. The Canelo Chupapi Muñeños, the Cinnabons, they have the most asinine logic probably out of any major fighter fan base in the sport of boxing. How are we trying to make an argument for something that Badou Jack said in 2021 and then 2 years later hold him to the same standard when he's already moved up and become a champion in this new cruiserweight? He fought against Blake McKernan, a guy that I know personally, and that was on Triller. And this was close to cruiserweight, 190, 200 pounds, somewhere right around there. And things have changed. Like, are we going to really pretend to be that dense in an effort to save Canelo and act like something you said 2 years ago, despite variables that have happened since that? You still have to be held to what you said 2 years ago when you're willing to. And even if you listen to the excerpt and the actual audio, Badou Jack was like, I'm not waiting for Canelo. I'm moving up to cruiserweight. I hate cutting weight. I don't make weight good, so I'm moving up in weight. It's too hard. Like, he's literally telling you these things. Another thing is, one of the most idiotic talking points from the Chupapi Muñeños is they're making it sound like Canelo Alvarez has to fight Badou Jack. The whole thing, first of all, nobody asked for Canelo to move up to cruiserweight. So that's where a lot of the Canelo man fans get it wrong. Nobody wanted Canelo to move up to cruiserweight. So people are babying Canelo. Oh, he's a garden gnome and he's so tiny. And okay, then keep your tiny ass at 168 and fight David Benavidez. There's that. People are acting like Canelo is the only one that threw this, him and his team, that threw this cap in the hat and said they wanted to fight at cruiserweight against Makbook Air initially, which Badou Jack said to Mike Tyson, or in one of those interviews, right? And that's the reality of it. Nobody wanted Canelo to fight Badou Jack nor go to cruiserweight. People are asking for Canelo to fight David Benavidez at 168. So I don't understand this pity party for Canelo talking about, oh, he's too small and he's too little, but he's the one that has utterly decided that he wanted to move to cruiserweight. Nobody else. The fans didn't pressure Canelo to move up to cruiserweight because it really sounded ridiculous. And since I'm the best in the business, oh my gosh, I'll make this look easy. Canelo also said, if we're bringing up old stuff that people said like Badou Jack, let's tell the complete tale. Canelo Alvarez said he would fight against Alexander Usyk close to 200 pounds. So again, the Canelo man fans, they're not going to tell you this. They're going to say, oh, Badou Jack said he would fight him at 175. Yeah, that was 2 years ago. You expect nothing to change in 2 years? 2 years ago, we were still considered to be in a pandemic. So 2 years ago, to enter a building, you had to wear a mask. Guess what? Now you don't. Things change over the course of time, right? So I understand the Canelo fans, they're losing their savior. Canelo looks bad, so they're trying to, desperately cling on to anything. But again, just like the Rona, in 2020 and 2021, when this interview was conducted, we were in a widespread pandemic. So the only businesses that could be open were essential businesses. Virtually, that doesn't seem to be the case currently because they have deemed that we are not in a pandemic at this moment. So guess what? I just caught a flight and nobody had a mask on. You didn't have to wear a mask. In 2021, when Badou Jack did this interview, you probably had to wear a mask or you might have wanted to wear a mask. Again, things change over the course of time. And since I'm the king of analogies, here's another example. Just think about in boxing. There could have been a fight like, let's say, Vasyl Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis, hypothetically. 2 years ago, some people might have said, oh, Vasyl Lomachenko will destroy Tank Davis. But you look at the progression and where both guys are in their career 2 years later, now those opinions have probably changed. A lot of people seeing how Lomachenko lost to Teofimo or how he had a tough fight and should have lost to Jermaine Ortiz and lost to Devin Haney, they might re-examine it 2 years later and be like, Gervonta Davis will knock him out. But that doesn't mean that's how they felt 2 years ago. Or here's another example, because this is what I do. Let's say you're in high school and there's a girl, she's the prom queen, she's the finest girl in your school, everybody likes her, you want to date her. 2 years from now, you might not want to date her. What if she gained some weight, had 2 kids with 2 different baby daddies, got acne all of a sudden because of hormonal changes, and ultimately she doesn't look exactly like she looked when you wanted her 2 years ago in high school. So you have to date her now because even though things change, and let's say in the course of those same 2 years, you lived your purpose and, became a man and got a great job and you were making great money and she's on WIC and, not doing well for herself, doesn't look the same, then guess what? Things change. You probably don't want to date her like you did in high school, because in high school, you might have been on an even playing field, but things change. Different people evolve and go different ways, etc. That's no different than what we're talking about with Canelo and Badou Jack. Canelo's stupid fans are trying to hold Badou Jack to some stuff he said 2 years ago. Here's another example for Canelo. Canelo said he would fight Floyd Mayweather at 150 pounds, and then years later, they actually fought at a catch weight higher than 150 at 152, and then the Canelo man fans cried about it and said, oh, Floyd Mayweather's a bully and Canelo's too green, he couldn't make the weight. But Canelo's team said they would fight him even lower than that. So why are you crying at 152? Listen, I know it hurts. Canelo looks bad. Canelo looks desperate. And for Canelo to retweet this, it just goes to show you how far his career has kind of sunk. And again, I think the baseline of this whole video is the whole cruiserweight Badou Jack conversation. We're just talking about what was said and what has transpired. No one really asked for that fight. People have been asking for Canelo to fight guys like David Benavidez or even Dimitri Bivol, right? Fight Dimitri Bivol in a rematch. No one told you, like, when you have app challenges in or around your current division, you don't have to go up all this weight and fight at cruiserweight. The only reason is you chose to try to cherry pick, and MacBook Air got knocked out and beat up by Badou Jack. So now Badou Jack is definitely a tougher challenge than MacBook Air, so you try to tax him. Badou Jack took to his social media, said, "For the record, I did agree to 190-pound catch weight for my 200-pound title." So you see Badou Jack being a real one. He's putting the information out there, and he's saying, I still was willing to make a sacrifice. I'm a 200-pound cruiserweight champion, and I was willing to drop 10 pounds. What I'm not willing to do is drop 20 pounds plus a rehydration clause for my cruiserweight title. Bravo to Badou Jack. It doesn't get any realer than that. And I advise all fighters to put yourself in great positions like Badou Jack and others where you're financially stable, because boxing will try to get you. They'll try to do some smirkish stuff and catch you lacking, catch you on the couch, catch you and give you 2 weeks of a training camp. Meanwhile, your opponent was an A-side and he was already training for, 10 weeks, and you only get 2 weeks to train. So he's already in shape and you're not. You're just training to cut weight. And this is how fighters get exploited by people like Canelo, vultures, scavengers in the sport of boxing. Luckily, Badou Jack has made responsible choices, has a loving family and a good team, and they weren't willing to put him out there and have him sacrifice his potential health for a paycheck. And I advise more fighters start doing that. Do ventures outside of the sport of boxing and the scope of boxing, because you don't want your whole career, to be a flash in the pan because you agreed to some crazy terms. Because when you agree, and there's no crying about it after. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Canelo looks extremely bad. He's trying to save face and retweet some stuff that Badou Jack said literally 2 years ago. Pitiful. And I'm up.